I just pushed npm subscription support to production and tested out, and it seems like it worked pretty well. So I wanted to give you a quick demo from scratch, show you what it looks like. So let's go ahead and create a new app from scratch, npm sub demo. And we go into subscriptions, and this is where we can manage them. And you can see that we don't have any subscriptions running as of yet. So what I'm going to do is come into the Graphical Explorer. And first, I'm just going to run a static query. So it's going to go into npm, and I'm just going to pull out some information. Oops. So I'm just going to npm. I'm pulling out some static information on GraphQL. I want to know the description, the home page, the ID, keywords, name, etc., etc. Let's also pull out the repository information. So while we're here, we can jump over into a GitHub repository if there's one associated with this npm package. Inside of the repository, we'll pull out the description. We'll pull out the number of forks, and we'll also pull out the number of open issues. We'll get the total count of those. And finally, let's get the URL. So I'm going to run this. This is just a static query. And you can see I'm not logged in. I did get as much information as possible, but I'm not logged into GitHub, so it's going to ask me to log in. And what this is going to do is allow it to close over my authentication. So whenever I create a subscription, it'll actually use this login that I just created. So I'll go ahead and run this. And this, again, just a static query, but we can see there are 51 open issues over on the GitHub repository. So what I'm going to do is copy this, because that's going to be useful in a second. Because what I want is not just a static query, but actually full subscription. So let's go into npm, and we have two options here. We can subscribe to the package publish activity for specific packages. So for example, maybe I only care about when the GraphQL or the Express packages are updated. And in those cases, I want to go ahead and pull out the description, the keyword, and whatnot. So this allows me to target it if I only care about specific packages. But I think in your case, you want all packages. And every time a package is published, we'll go ahead and pull out that package. And what I'm going to do now is paste in our previous query, and it should just work one-to-one. And I'm going to remove this. But you can see there is a required webhook URL. And that's where this is actually going to be delivered to. And what I'm going to do here is create a Jax action prod npm sub demo. This is just a little tool we built to help us debug webhooks. So I'm going to copy that. I'll paste it in. And while I'm here, I'll go ahead and flesh out this a little bit more, maybe in addition to the information I got beforehand. I also want to know how many times has this package been downloaded last month. Maybe I want to know about the author, so I want the email and name. And we'll do the maintainers as well. And then finally, I want to know what were the times when it was both created and modified. And I want to know every time it was published, what were the dates of every version that was published beforehand. And if I want to jump into the previous versions, this will also do it, but I'll just leave it as is for now. I'll give this a nice name, npm sub all, and I'll go ahead and just make sure that the name is in here. This looks good. For fun, let's throw in the README. And inside of GitHub, also the description HTML. Might want to embed those. So I'll run that, and you can see that it gave me back, instead of a bunch of data, the ID, which is a handle for the subscription. And this is just useful if you want to handle subscriptions programmatically. You can go over to here and see that we now have this active subscription here. We can unsubscribe it if we want. And data is already starting to flow in for us. So you can see that, let's see, what package was this? The View Model React package was just published. Here are the dates and times every previous version that has been published is. Oh, similarly, I guess, for example, let's go ahead and unsubscribe this because I realize we might want some more data. So let's go into dist tags, and we'll get the latest and get the latest version string. So this tells us what is the latest version that has been published as of this event. So now we have a new subscription, and in a second or two, it should come in here. Great, we have some more packages being published. The nice thing with npm is you don't have to wait too long. And so now if we scroll through, we should see dist tags. And we can see that 0.1.260 map is the latest one for this. It's been downloaded 2,700 times in the last month. And yeah, we just have, you know, they're just coming in. So this is literally all it takes. Every time a package is going to be published from now on npm, this query will be run across all those different services. You can even do bundle phobia and whatnot, and it'll all be collated and delivered directly to here. Nothing else needs to be wired up. You can do all this programmatically. You can create it programmatically if you want. You can disable it programmatically if you want, or manually like I have just now, just once off. So anyway, that's a pretty in-depth demo, but hopefully this will work for you. Would love to hear your feedback.